go for the final time. We are green! Contact! A terrible crash!
We're in it.
For the final time in Snickers Cup Series history, we are ready to go under the green flag in a regular season race. But it's not any regular season race, it's the last regular season race here in Season 10, the final season of the Snickers Cup Series. After today, folks, we will be determining 15 of the 16 drivers that will battle it out for this season's Snickers Cup Series Chase for the championship. 10 drivers already confirmed, but there's a host of drivers trying to take those final 5 slots in this chase for the championship. Everybody else will have to depend on the LCQ that will come up in the next few days. We are live here for the second time this season at Rockingham, North Carolina Speedway. Normally we go to a track like Talladega, Richmond for our regular season finale, but we have come here to the Rock, hoping it's going to give us one exciting race and a couple of surprise faces in this season's chase for the championship. 40 laps on tap here today with Dougie Shears, two-time winner this season, alongside of last week's winner, Zach Buchanan. There's going to be a lot of strategy in today's race, a lot of calculating of points. Let me break it down for you right now before we even get the command to fire the engines up. 10 drivers come into this race already with chase spots locked up. Regardless of what happens in this race, they will be battling for the championship in the next 10 races. They include the following. 3-time winners Jacob Lawlor and Trent Dunham already easily locked themselves into the chase. As far as 1-time winners, you got Tim Walsh, he's locked in. James Qualls is locked in, as well as Brandon Gonzalez, Danny Wells, Cole Daly, Cody Lamas, and then you got 2-time winners, Dougie Shears and Jessica Shelton. They are all locked into this season's chase for the championship. We're going to bring up now the chase bubble view of drivers that have a win this season. This is not counting drivers that may end up picking up a win here today at Rockingham, but just drivers at this point that have a win coming into the season based on where they are in relation to 30th in the standings. Ryan Acosta, Austin LaPlante, 43 points up on Dylan Poteet, who's in that critical 30th spot. So for Ryan Acosta, Austin LaPlante, their magic number is 47. They need to finish out today's race at least 47 points ahead of that 30th spot in the standings, which means basically today what they have to do is they have to finish in 39th or better, and they're locked into the chase for the championship. So Acosta, LaPlante just basically have to survive the first few cautions probably, and they'll be locked into the chase for the championship. But then it gets really testy from there on down. Dylan Poteet, 2-time winner this season. His 2 wins coming early on in the season, then the wheels seem to come off the train week after week after the All-Star race. He is in the 30th spot in points. Keep in mind, in order to be eligible for the chase, you have to have a win, which Poteet has 2, but you also have to be inside the top 30 in points. If Dylan Poteet today runs into trouble and finishes outside the top 30 in the standings, doesn't matter if he's got 2 victories, they're null and void. He's out of the hunt for the championship. And look at how close it is behind him of drivers that want to dethrone him from that spot and take his slot in the battle for the championship. Dylan Young, our winner from Madrid, only 5 spots back, 5 points back. All he's got to do is finish a total of 6 spots ahead of Dylan Poteet today, and Poteet maybe not be battling for the championship, and Dylan Young would work his way in. Then you got Richard Johnson, our winner from Talladega, and last week's winner, Zach Buchanan. That win put him into possible championship contention. They are both tied in the standings, only 8 points behind Dylan Poteet. They have to finish both a total of 4 spots ahead of Dylan Young today, and also 9 spots ahead of Dylan Poteet. And then our long shot driver is DJ Curtis. Now he's really going to have to go out there and win and hope that the drivers ahead of him run into trouble today in order to try and pick up his second victory of the season. He's the long shot, 19 points out. Basically, for DJ, he's got to win today's race and hope that Dylan Young, Richard Johnson, Zach Buchanan, and Dylan Poteet finish outside the top 25. The odds are not good for that happening, but we'll have to see. Stranger things have happened here in the NNSCRA. So, I've already said all of that just to say that maybe none of it's going to even matter, because there are a number of drivers that are running really well in the point standings, but they don't have a victory. If they pick up a victory today, boom, they're automatically locked into the chase for the championship. And those drivers would include the following: rookie Austin Mongold, Joshua Michaels, Joshua Collard, Anthony McCrory, John Cittadino, Benjamin Miles, William Duncan, Seth Cole, and Chris Washer. If any of those drivers go to victory lane today, they're automatically going to make their way into the chase for the championship. Why? Because they are up above the 47-point mark from 30th in the standings. They cannot fall outside the top 30 in points, and that win would lock them into the chase for the championship. So there's a lot to keep an eye on during the course of today's race, and it's going to be really, really exciting to see what's going to happen. Dougie Shears and Zach Buchanan, as I said, they start on the front row. Anthony McCrory, if he wins today, he's locked in. McCrory rolling off from third, and Tim Walsh there in fourth. Walsh already locked in. He'd love to be able to pick up a second win this season, though, and tie with Jessica Shelton and Dougie Shears, who are already locked in for the second seed in the chase for the championship. But we're going to get ready to go racing. We're going to keep a close eye on all the scenarios coming into today's race. 40 laps of excitement await us. Without further ado, let's go down trackside as Michael Norman gets ready to give us those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engine!
I'm not sure if a chase for the championship grid being put together has had as much hype in the Snickers Cup Series as it has here in Season 10. Probably the big reason is because it's the last one we're ever going to see in Snickers Cup Series competition. Everyone wants to be able to battle for the final Snickers Cup Series championship. 15 drivers will have nothing to worry about on that score after today's race. The remaining 27 will battle it out at a track still to be announced. And they will battle for the final LCQ transfer spot. Here we go, though. The final regular season race, the final race to the chase, is on here at Rockingham. We are green flag racing at the Rock. Tim Walsh very wisely jumps down to the third position underneath Zach Buchanan. Down to the inside line as they head down the back straightaway. I'd be very surprised if this thing goes green for most of this event. These drivers are going to be fighting a lot harder than they normally do because chase positions are on the line. Dougie Shears trying to tie with Trent Dunham and Jacob Lawlor as a three-time winner this season. Out in front, Anthony McCrory not too far behind. Somehow, some way, we've gone 1.5 laps of green flag racing. I don't understand how. Now, Dylan Poteet qualified fairly well for this race. As I said, he came in that critical position of 30th in the standings. There he is. Right now, he's getting bypassed by Stephen Pollard III, which is actually not good for him because Stephen only came into this race a total of, I think it was 4 points behind Dylan Poteet. That could very well be position in points that Dylan Poteet could be losing. He could drop to 31st in points right now if he doesn't get back here and battle Stephen Pollard III for that position. Moving up here, you take a look up here and see some of these drivers that I mentioned. If they win, they're in. There's Seth Cole, Joshua Michaels, John Cittadino. They're in 7th, 8th, and 9th. They have to hope they can win here today. John Cittadino, two-time Snickers Cup Series champ, would love to go for an unprecedented third Snickers Cup Series championship. But all that's standing in his way right now is a trip to victory lane as there's a battle going on for the lead up ahead. Anthony McCrory was all over the back bumper of Dougie Shears. Zach Buchanan's actually done a good job keeping that high line going there. Still remaining side by side with Tim Walsh. Right now, Buchanan running in third. Dylan Poteet last time by was scored in 15th, which means at the moment, Zach Buchanan is up ahead of Dylan Poteet in the standings. And he may be up inside the top 30. Battle for the lead. Anthony McCrory to the bottom of the racetrack on Dougie Shears. As I recall, about 2 seasons ago, McCrory ran well here. So he knows how to get around Rockingham. But he was not able to make the move there on Dougie Shears. There's Sean Galligan in the 44. Now Galligan coming into this race came in only 4 points behind Dylan Poteet. If he went to victory lane and he was able to finish ahead of drivers like Pichu London, Kyle Matthews, Charles Samper, Sean Henley, I mean Galligan maybe could make the chase. It'd be a long shot, but he might be able to pull it off. Talked about 2 drivers that they just needed to run well in order to be in the chase. Well, right now, one of them is definitely doing that. That's Austin LaPlante. There he is, currently scored in the 13th position. So, looks like at the current moment, barring any problems, Austin LaPlante will be in the battle for the championship in Snickers Cup here in the final season. What about the other driver? That would have been Ryan Acosta. There he is, behind Kyle Matthews. He is currently scored in 23rd. As long as those two are running higher than 39th right now, they are both locked into this season's chase. There's Sean Henley getting moved 3 wide. Talked about his teammate Sean Galligan, how it's possible that maybe Galligan could make the chase if he picks up a victory, as he's close to the top 30 in the standings. Well, the same can be said for Sean Henley. Henley actually comes in only 1 point behind his teammate Dylan Poteet in the standings. Now he's not running, well actually I think he is running better than Poteet at the moment. I think Poteet actually dropped back several spots. So Sean Henley, if he can get up there with some pit strategy or something, go to victory lane. No, actually Poteet is ahead of him, my apologies. If he can get up there, work some strategy, then Sean Henley could make the chase for the championship. There's still a lot of drivers that are still eligible, and there are a lot of scenarios that can still play out in drivers being able to make last-minute moves, even here as late as Rockingham, into this chase for the championship, as Sean Galligan has gone to the front. Galligan getting around Dougie Shears and Anthony McCrory, and he is the new race leader and has actually opened up the gap between himself and this battle for second. I look at Dougie Shears and I can't help but think back to a couple of seasons ago when Dougie Shears all but really dominated the race here at Rockingham, and he ended up getting dumped, if I remember correctly. I think it was by Charles Samper, back when Samper drove the Mitsubishi Lancer for Gonzalez S3 Motorsports. And I'm trying to remember, if memory serves me right, wasn't it Anthony McCrory who ended up winning that race as a result? I might be wrong, but somehow that seems to be the case. Over a full second, Sean Galligan leading right now. This team realizes this is their only hope. Right now, Galligan doing a good job of being out in front. He's got that bonus point for leading a lap. So with Dylan Poteet not leading a lap, Galligan now closes it up to only 3 points between himself and Dylan Poteet in the standings, if we were going by live points, not counting where the both of them are on track at the moment. Keep in mind though, we've been green flag racing this whole event so far. 15 laps and no cautions, which really surprises me. Tim Walsh moving by for 5th, taking that away from Seth Cole. Seth Cole moved up to 17th in points, and if he can win here today, he's locked into the chase. A lot of the Twinix drivers already locked into the chase. Trent Dunham's locked in, and so too is Danny Wells. Dylan Poteet is questionable. Matter of fact, let's find out where the 31's running now. There he is, running in 11th position. This isn't too bad for Dylan Poteet. The good news for him is he's running right now ahead of Stephen Pollard III and Sean Henley. But he's not running better than Sean Galligan. Galligan might be the one that displaces Dylan Poteet from the top 30 in the standings. How about some other drivers that are trying to dethrone Dylan Poteet? How about Dylan Young? Only came in 5 points behind Poteet. We haven't really seen him. Where is he? There he is. hanging out at the back right now. It scored 34th last time by, now 33rd. I saw Richard Johnson not too far ahead. There's the 47, 24th right now. He's got to get up there, and Zach Buchanan is running better than Dylan Poteet. He's only 6 spots ahead of him, though, as looks like pit stops are taking place. Levi McIntyre, Kyle Matthews, Austin Mongold, Pollard, Miles, Daly, Cittadino, and Curtis are in. So apparently we're getting down to pit strategy that may end up determining who gets into the chase and who doesn't. Is Galligan coming in this time? He is. Galligan's coming in, Shear's coming in. Will somebody stay out and try and lead a lap? It's going to be Dylan Poteet. Can't say I'm really surprised. Dylan Poteet needs every point he can get, and he stayed out an extra lap to lead. And he'll get that bonus point necessary. So that counters Sean Galligan's lap that he led. So Poteet, that's at least going to help him as far as keeping Sean Galligan at bay from trying to displace him from 30th in the points. This 31 team's coming in with a lot of pressure. Johnny Gardner also stayed out. He's in. Those are the last 2 drivers to hit pit lane. And we'll see with not as cluttered a pit road if maybe, just maybe, Dylan Poteet might end up coming out in a good spot on track. Gotta come all the way down to his pit stall near the front. And he'll pull into his stall, hit his pit board, and they'll go to work on the Subway Chevrolet. So I wouldn't be surprised if after this, the lead's going to cycle back around to Sean Galligan. Then again, maybe not. Danny Wells just crossed the line, and it looked like he was ahead of the 44. Where's Danny? Oh, maybe he was on pit road, actually. Yeah, I think Danny Wells was on pit road. I think the lead's going to cycle back around to the 44. I might be wrong. We'll wait until the entire field cycles around. We're past the midway point of this race as well. At the line, let's see. It is indeed Sean Galligan, the leader. Kyle Matthews is now up to 2nd. Now coming into this race, Kyle Matthews in the point standings is 27th. A win for him might get him locked up into the chase. Already, several of his teammates, Cody Lamas, Cole Daly, and Jacob Lawlor, are locked into the chase for the championship. Matthews doesn't want to be the lone man out for the Hendrick Downey Motorsports team. Then there's Levi McIntyre. He's now the 3rd place driver, and remember, he's been on quite a streak as of late. Ran into a little bit of hardship last week at M&M's, but that 99 team has been really strong. McIntyre coming into this race, though, 34th in the standings. So the fact that Sean Galligan's ahead of him is not a good thing. He's got to get himself ahead of Galligan, Henley, Poteet, Pollard, and possibly Charles Sanford, Pichu London as well. 4th place now, that is Dougie Shears, still running his race. And there's Austin Mongold. He has been so consistent this season as Mongold, but he's just been plagued by not being able to find victory lane. It's just not been able to happen for him. And it'd be a heartbreak for this rookie if he cannot make the chase after such a consistent season. Anthony McCurry now is in 6th, quite a ways back, but still not out of the hunt yet. Still anything can happen. We could have a caution come out and bunch this field back up. Stephen Pollard III is in 7th place. Now Pollard, coming into this race, was a total of 4 points behind Poteet, so he needs a win in order to get himself into the top 30. Then there's Walsh in 8th, Seth Coles in 9th, and the battle is on for 10th. Joshua Michaels has it, John Cittadino trying to take it. Dylan Poteet, after all this, comes out in the 12th position. What about Dylan Young, Richard Johnson, Zach Buchanan? Where are they? There's Buchanan. He's 21st. He lost a lot of positions on pit road. Richard Johnson's 24th. And Dylan Young's has just not been his race, apparently. He's way back here. Where in the world is he? There he is. Scored in 40th position. Joshua Collard 41st and Michael Norman 42nd. Those two actually about to be reeled in by Sean Galligan, who, wait a minute, there's some damage on the front of that car. There's a buckle on the hood of the Hartley-Pool Chevrolet. Doesn't appear to have slowed him down none, but he must have ran to the back of somebody on pit road. Now, as I'm working the calculator here, Sean Henley is not inside the top 10 in the running order. Neither is Dylan Poteet. Poteet was scored, I think it was 12th last time by, which means that Sean Galligan, who led a lap, with Poteet leading the lap, that completely cancels that out. Galligan now, who only came in 4 points behind Poteet, now is somewhere around probably, I'd say, 6 or 7 points ahead of Poteet in the standings, which means that Sean Galligan could very well at this point in time be inside the top 30 in points. And if he closes this race out with a victory, Sean Galligan could be making a last-minute move into the chase for the championship. He's not only ahead of Poteet, he's ahead of Charles Sanford, which means if he doesn't pass Poteet, he could pass Charles Sanford. He's also ahead of Pichu London. Came in 14 spots behind Pichu London and 14 behind Kyle Matthews. Now Matthews is third, but where is London? If London's running 15th or worse, then that could help Galligan out as well, and London is running way back in 32nd. So Galligan at the current moment, I believe, has passed Dylan Poteet, Charles Sanford, and Pichu London, which means he could be up as high as 28th in the standings at this current moment. So the victory would lock him up a spot in the chase for the championship based on where other drivers ahead of him are running. And also with the fact that Pichu London's running so far back, Dylan Poteet right now basically has to concentrate on Charles Sanford. If he can stay ahead of Charles Sanford, who he only came into this race 2 points behind, if he can finish just a little ways ahead of Sanford, Poteet doesn't have anything to worry about. He's locked back up into the chase after coming in on that 30th position in points. Sean Galligan continuing to pace the field. He may end up locking up another bonus point too, Mike Galligan, for leading the most laps. 7 laps to go. I don't know if they're going to have to pit again or not. I honestly am absolutely shocked. I thought that these drivers were going to be wrecking it up. I thought there were going to be a lot of caution flags, and there was going to be a lot of pit strategy based off of those caution flags. But we have not had one yellow flag yet. We've had a cycle of green flag pit stops, and right now it's looking like definitely the dominant car of the day, Sean Galligan, is going to win this race. And as a consequence, based on where other drivers are running, he is going to lock himself up a spot in this season's final chase for the championship. There's Jacob Lawlor. Oh, baby! Just when I open my big mouth, the yellow flag is out here at Rockingham. You have got to be kidding me. With 5 laps remaining as they hit the stripe, the yellow flag rears its ugly head, and this changes up everything. And from what I saw, it looked like a driver already locked up in the chase was involved, Jacob Lawlor in the 5. Might have been a single car incident as well, so it will not have any chase implications, I don't believe. We're sticking here at the moment, though, because we're going to see. I don't know if these drivers are going to have to pit or not. They all pitted just around the midway point. They might be able to actually save some fuel here under caution. We'll look and see if anyone dives to pit road this time. If not, we'll look back, check out the spin by Jacob Lawlor, and then we'll come back and try and figure out what the updated chase scenarios are. And there is no indication whatsoever by any of the leaders that they're coming to pit road. Pit road was open, they did not take. So we're going to look at a replay, and then we'll be right back. We're going to have a shootout to finish it out here in the final regular season race at Rockingham. And Jacob Lawlor was basically just riding around, and right here, I can't tell if he slipped up or if McLeod just got a really good run. And they just lock bumpers. And McLeod turns him around in the right rear. McLeod up and into the outside retaining wall. Pretty hard hit there. And Lawlor's car goes spinning around. Like I said, not really much in chase implications. Lawlor was already locked in, and James McLeod, even if he won a second race today, was mathematically ineligible for making it inside the top 30 in points. So not really much of a factor into who was going to make the chase and who wasn't. But that is what put us under the caution flag here for, amazingly enough, the first time today with only 6 laps remaining. Let's head back now, try and break it all down for who's in, who's out, who's still got a shot here in the chase for the championship at Rockingham. Alright, so as we've been under this break, I have been working the calculators ferociously. At the moment, Sean Galligan stands to make the chase for the championship, but with everything bunched up, drivers that really could hurt his chances include Sean Henley, Charles Sanford, and Pichu London. If they can pick up spots here in this green-white checkered, Galligan could be in trouble. However, keep in mind, Galligan would have the 5 bonus points for winning this race. That might help him out as well. As far as Dylan Poteet, right now he just has to keep himself as far ahead of Charles Sanford as he can. Right now Poteet's 11th, Sanford is in 12th. So Poteet right now really has to try and get a gap between himself and Charles Sanford. How about Austin LaPlante? There he is, 17th. He's now locked into the chase. How about Ryan Acosta? He's 27th. He's locked into the chase. Let's find out what's going to happen here. Green flag is out to green-white checker to finish out this race. A single file restart. Let's see if anybody's going to be able to do any passing on Sean Galligan. Galligan is gone. Nobody making moves yet. DJ Curtis, though, made a move on Zach Buchanan. That could take Zach Buchanan out of the championship hunt now as he gets caught on the high side. White flag displayed. One more time around for Sean Galligan. A win could mean a chase spot in the final championship hunt in the Snickers Cup Series. Dougie Shears, he's trying to get tied for number 1 seed in this season's chase. And look at how they spread out. Whoa, did we have trouble back there? Poteet jumped up to 3rd. What just happened back there? Poteet just jumped up to 3rd place. As they come to the line, Sean Galligan wins at Rockingham. He's into the chase. Dylan Poteet jumped up to 3rd out of nowhere. He's into the chase. They all had to pit. Matthews had to pit. Seth Cole had to pit. What just happened? They didn't. They came to pit road on the final lap. It's not going to help him. Oh, Danny Wells just got spun out. Doesn't matter, he finished 5th, and now he gets hit by Levi McIntyre. And now everybody's piling in. That was not what I was banking on. They all had to pit coming to the white flag. And Dylan Poteet jumped from 10th to 3rd. So he's locked in the chase now. That's exactly the finish he needed. Sean Galligan with his win today, he's locked in. And just a second, let me look here real quickly. It's looking like Richard Johnson maybe, or Zach Buchanan. Zach Buchanan finished 2 spots behind Richard Johnson, though. So if either one of them makes it, then it's Richard Johnson that would take it. Let's see here. We know Poteet's got one of the 3 spots locked up. Galligan's got one of the 3 spots locked up. Now it comes down between Richard Johnson and Zach Buchanan. But the question is, does Richard Johnson even have it? If Richard Johnson did not make the top 30 in points, then the next driver without a win would be the one in line, which I think would probably be Austin Mongold. Let's try and work some calculations here. Now, Dylan Poteet already moved into the top 30 in points with his 3rd place finish. Richard Johnson was 8 points behind him. We know Richard finished ahead of Dylan Young, who finished all the way back in 33rd. So Dylan Young is a non-factor. So let's see. Richard Johnson would have to have finished higher than Levi McIntyre, Stephen Pollard III, and Sean Henley, as well as Charles Sanford and Kyle Matt and Pichu London. Let's see if he beat all of them. All right, let's find out where Dylan Young finished. We already know, I think it was 33rd. Levi McIntyre, where did he finish? McIntyre was 18th. So Richard finished a total of 10 spots ahead of him. Stephen Pollard III, he was 22nd. So he finished 14 spots ahead of him. Sean Henley, Sean was 6th. So that's going to be close. He finished 2 spots ahead of Richard. Now we know that Poteet beat him. We know that Galligan beat him. Charles Sanford, where did he finish out the race? Where in the world is he? There he is. He finished 25th, so that was 17 spots that Richard Johnson finished ahead of Sanford. Pichu London was 31st. That's 23 spots ahead that Richard Johnson beat him. Kyle Matthews, we know, had to pit. He was 27th. That's 19 spots that Richard beat him by. And what about Johnny Gardner? Gardner was 4th. So, boy, I don't know. We got to wait for the official scoring from NNSCRA to find out if Richard Johnson took that last spot. It's going to come down between Richard Johnson, winner, versus Austin Mongold, non-winner. If Richard Johnson is not inside the top 30 in points after today's race, it would then be the final transfer spot, the 15th transfer spot, going to the driver highest in the point standings that does not have a win, and that was a runaway by Austin Mongold. So, who's it going to be? Is it going to be Richard Johnson or is it going to be Austin Mongold? It's going to battle it out with the other 14 drivers for the championship hunt. I don't know. We'll be right back, and we will tell you the answer. And don't go away, because we are about to show you your full feature results, and then we're coming right back. We're not going to show you the points yet. We're going to show you who the 15 drivers are that are in the chase for the championship. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Alright folks, without further ado, it is time to introduce you to your 15 chasers in the battle for the championship. The 16th driver, of course, will be determined at the LCQ race, but these 15 drivers won't have to worry about it. Let's introduce you to the final season chase for the championship in the Snickers Cup Series drivers that you're going to be seeing battling for 10 races in the hunt for the final title of Snickers Cup Series champion. They are both tied atop the point standings with the number 1 seed, both 3-time winners this season. We'll start first with the highest in points. That would be Jacob Lawlor with 3 wins, 4 top 5s, and 7 top 10s. He had an average finish of 18th place this season. He had 4 poles as well. Jacob Lawlor takes the number 1 seed. Tied with him is Trent Dunham. The sweeper at Daytona won the 500 and the summer race at Daytona with 3 victories, 8 top 5s, 11 top 10s, and an average finish of 18th place. It'll be Trent Dunham and Jacob Lawlor that will be tied atop the point standings heading to the first round of the chase for the championship. Then the second seed, it's tied up between a total of 4 drivers, as you're going to have the top one being Dougie Shears. He finishes out the regular season 9th in the point standings with a total of 2 wins, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, about a 20th place average finish, and 2 pole positions, including today here at Rockingham. So Dougie Shears, the Season 1 Snickers Cup Series champion, he's going to be battling for the final Snickers Cup Series championship. And I did make a mistake. I said 4 drivers that were 2-time winners. I meant to say 3, as the second one will be Jessica Shelton, finishing 16th overall in the regular season points with 2 wins, 3 top 5s, and 6 top 10s. An average finish of 21st this season. Jessica Shelton will be battling for her first chase for the championship since season 8. Then the final driver, we mentioned it already, moving his way into the top 30 in points. He finishes out the regular season 28th in the standings. That's good enough to get him in with 2 wins, 4 top 5s, and 4 top 10s, a 23rd place average finish, and a pole position. Dylan Poteet is going to be in this season's chase for the championship. And now it comes down to the final drivers with 1 win, making their way into the chase for the championship. He went on quite a tear here in the last half of the season, and he is going to be the highest of the number 3 seeds for 1 win this season. Danny Wells in the number 4. With his good top 5 today, he's going to finish the regular season 5th in the point stands with 1 win at Darlington, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s, a 19th place average finish, and 2 pole positions. Danny Wells is going to be in the chase for the championship. Joining him, finishing the regular season out in 7th in the points. He's going to be one Toyota in the field, and that's probably going to be it, as he is the only one that gives Waltrip Mayonnaise drivers to make the chase. 1 win, 6 top 5s, 9 top 10s, an average finish of 19th place, and a pole position. Tim Walsh will be battling for the final championship in Snickers Cup Series. He won the championship last season. He's in the hunt again. Mitsubishi Lancer will be represented by Brandon Gonzalez. 8th overall in the points for the regular season. 1 win, 4 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and a 19th place average finish. As well as, oh no, he didn't have a pole, my apologies. Brandon Gonzalez, he's going to be trying to pick up his 2nd championship in as many seasons. He didn't have the best of runs today, but he still is going to survive for a spot in the chase for the championship. If there had been no chase last season, he would have been the champion by overall points. James Qualls, our winner from Sonoma, finishes 12th overall in the regular season points with a win, 2 top 5s, and 7 top 10s, a 20th place average finish. James Qualls makes his 2nd chase for the championship in only 3 seasons in Snickers Cup Series career. Next driver is going to be a driver that has never in his career made a Snickers Cup Series chase. It's the first time ever in the last one ever. Cody Lamas finishes out the season 13th in the point standings. It with 1 win, 2 top 5s, and 8 top 10s, a 20th place average finish. For the first time in a long time, the number 48 will be represented in the Snickers Cup Series chase for the championship. Next driver is going to be his teammate in the 88, finishing 17th overall in the regular series points. Cole Daly with 1 win, 3 top 5s, and 7 top 10s, a 21st place average finish, and a pole position will be in this season's chase for the championship. Next driver, you got to go quite a ways down in points, 24th overall in the standings this season. Austin LaPlante, our winner from Phoenix, with 1 win, 2 top 5s, 5 top 10s, and a pole position. Austin LaPlante will be battling this season for the championship in the legendary number 43, but he's not going to be the only Ford. Ryan Acosta finishes right behind him in the point standings, 25th in standings with 1 win, 5 top 5s, and 8 top 10s, a 22nd place average finish. Ryan Acosta, you think back to when he let John Acosta take his ride for the chase for the championship. Well, I think he's been rewarded 5 seasons later as he'll be battling for his first ever Snickers Cup Series championship. Well, he ended up pulling off the ultimate upset today and locked himself up a spot in the chase for the championship as a result. Our winner today from Rockingham, North Carolina, Sean Galligan, moved up 5 spots with his victory today to 27th overall in the final transfer spot. Transfer spot number 15 will go to the 47 of Richard Johnson in an unbelievable shot clock cheese by the driver out of JTG Daughtery Racing. So that is the drivers that will battle it out for the championship. Jacob Lawlor, Trent Dunham, Dougie Shears, Jessica Shelton, Dylan Poteet, Danny Wells, Tim Walsh, Brandon Gonzalez, James Qualls, Cody Lamas, Cole Daly, Austin LaPlante, Ryan Acosta, Sean Galligan, and Richard Johnson. That is your 15 drivers in this season's chase for the championship. But don't forget, folks, we still have that all-important LCQ where the 27 drivers that did not make the chase for the championship via this race still have one more opportunity. Everyone will be on a level playing field. It's just going to be whoever wins the race, they get the final transfer spot. And the announcement is now ready to be made. That race will be coming to you live from a track that has never been raced on before in an NNSCRA race. We are going to Raleigh Raceway Park for a demolition derby last man standing race. The last man standing or the first one to complete the scheduled laps will lock up the final 16th transfer spot into this season's chase for the championship. So congratulations to everyone that made the final chase for the championship. Good luck to all of those in the LCQ. That'll be the next race coming up here on the Snickers Cup Series schedule before we put all 16 drivers together and we head to our first race of the final chase for the championship for the Snickers Cup Series. I'm all out of voice, but it was a great race and it's been a great regular season. Hope you guys are looking forward to the chase as much as I am. Thank you all so much for watching. We will now show you the overall point standings that I just announced heading into next week. You'll see how the chase scenario was put together, as well as what the chase points will look like heading into the first race of the chase for the championship. So once again, everybody, thank you so much for watching. Thanks for sticking with us here for this regular season, and good luck to the 15 drivers now locked into the battle for the championship. You've been watching a production of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its Best. Goodbye from Rockingham. Hey, thanks for watching another video here on the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming channel. If you enjoyed the content you just saw, be sure to give this video a like. If you want to join the crew today, be sure to hit up that subscribe button. And if you want to know what's going on in the world of NNSCRA for news and updates, check out the Facebook and Twitter links down below me. Once again, thanks for watching everybody, and I will see you guys next time. I'm out.